Good morning, folks. Uh, Let me address something today. Um, this is Dragon. A lot of you know me already. My email is Dragon Speaks for You, the number 4 letter U, gmail.com. And Instagram is hashtag Dragon Speaks for You. YouTube, it's at Dragon Speaks for You. All my videos are on there. We're going to try to get this going in a more professional manner. I'd like to get some call-ins. I'd like to set up some call-ins. Boy, that'd be really nice. I already got people that would like to sit in and help. They're knowledgeable. I mean, they've got a lot of knowledge behind the subjects I speak about and going to speak about. So that'd be good because that way you got other people that are sitting there giving you different opinions. That mesh along with what we're talking about. Um, So it's not just me. I mean, for some of you, it's probably hard for you to believe me for some reason, whatever reason. But that's not neither here or there. I mean, I know what it is. I know what is, and it is what it is. Uh, it's been real. It is real, and that's just what I know. So uh, a lot of people have applied the things that I speak about, and they worked for them. So that's all confirmation for me. That I need. I mean, there was times I questioned myself, people. I questioned. Sometimes I questioned. I'm just being honest with you. Sometimes I questioned it myself. But hey, it comes to a point where you just gotta say, I gotta go with it because there's no way. There's no way it's not real. But anyway, I like to title this video. I don't know. I really thought too much about it. It's just come to me. So I think um, e- energy. I don't know, what can we title it. I think spiritual and carnal energies. Let's do that. Spiritual and carnal energies, because that fits. And uh, these energies are real. No matter what people say, there's scientifically, been proven. There's energies in these fields, whether we believe in them or not. And um, the thing is with me, I've often questioned, why is it so easy? Why is it so easy for people, to believe in the powers of darkness? Okay, let's say uh, the devil. All right, for lack of another word, and so hard for them to believe in the powers of the light, God, or the Almighty, or the Source. Why is it so hard for people to believe that? And along with that is when something goes wrong, something goes wrong in their life, they'll blame it on God, but yet the belief is not there to run to God when they have a problem, so much. But they'll blame God before they blame the devil or the dark side. And that's always been an interesting thing to me. I don't get that. It's kind of it's opposite way of thinking. But I come to the realization that it's the blindness. It's the blindness. It's the blindness that has set in against this knowledge. So against this realization. But once you have this realization, you you kind of have this mindset, this renewing of your mind. And you can utilize them. So in many senses, many ways, it's just confusing for people. So maybe it's the fact of not being able to find it within themselves, and for example, let's go. There's a lot of people out there right now that are hooked on drugs, and at one time I was there. Okay, many years ago I was on it. I mean, I started when I was 11 years old, and that's just the way it worked out. I mean, it's not like I set out for that. I didn't know anything about it, but once it just worked out that way. Forget the details, but I got into them. I got into it pretty heavy. I got into the business. I got into, it's back in the 60s, I mean, it's everybody was, one form or another. Well, I just happened to, I guess, have the right connects because I got into all kinds, as far as supplying, I had it, man. So, I mean, I thank God that I lived through it, but I want to be transparent with you people. And, I don't come from this sainthood or anything like that, but I do come from experience of the world. I come from a lot of experience of the world, and I've come out. I made it out. I fought my way through. There was a fight. It didn't just happen, and I survived. No, I had to fight to survive because I got myself into a lot of depth into different areas of it. Okay, so, and I've faced death, literally faced it quite a few times, and I come out. But I worked towards the things ahead of time that I needed to survive. So that's just me. But there's a lot of people out there that are caught in it, and it's destroying, it's killing them right now. They're dying behind this thing. And especially nowadays, there's so much junk out there. It's just junk. The drugs that are out there, they're made with all kinds of different chemicals. They're making, the people that are making them with anything just to make the buck. If there's such a thing, for back in my day, they were clean. I mean, I use that word loosely, but the chemicals were different. They weren't all this junk they're putting. I mean, I've seen them made with, I've seen meth made with battery acid. I've seen holes in people's noses that the acid have eaten through the nostril, and they just keep going and keep going. They got a hole plumb through their nose, because it's eaten through, and it's just weird to me. But it's coming out of their skin. They're pulling at their skin. They got bugs all over them. They tweaking out because you've seen people with sores all over their face and arms and everything because they get this OCD thing. And they get an obsession, man. They feel something, and they convinced it's a bug. There are bugs inside, and it is. It's the poison coming out of their pores. But anyway, if people got to understand, a lot of you don't understand that are out there. I hope some of you watch this because I know that a lot of you want out, and you don't know how to come out of this. You don't know how to come out of this thing, and it's got you encaged. So you got to understand something. It opens up a spiritual door, whether you believe it or not. Maybe you're just using them to get high. You're just getting high. You're getting this rush, and you get high, and that's all you're thinking about. You're not really studying the drug, and then it gets out of control. It gets to a point where it's out of control, and you keep going and keep going and keep going. You can't stop, and it just wears you out to the point where it finally knocks you down. You gotta. It's called the crash. They finally crash, and you gotta sleep sometime. But it can be bad, and but it opens up a spiritual door that gets dark after a while. It's fun for a minute. It's fun at the beginning, you get that rush and you feel good and the whole bit, but after a while, it starts affecting your mind. That's why they call it a mind altering drug. if you're strong enough and you understand that you can play with it, you know what I mean, and dive into the actual darkness of it. And you know, some people enjoy it. I know I did. I got into it, and I started playing with that darkness, and you know, it plays games on you, so you're actually playing games with yourself, and it, you know, but it's, I don't know, I don't know what to say about that. Maybe it's an entertainment thing, I don't know, but it gets pretty dark. It gets spiritual, and it gets real, and it can get deadly. It can become deadly, and it has become fatal for a lot of people. But today, let's talk about the day. It's to such a point where that goes immediately, and it starts eating up at your body. It, you know, before it used to take a while. You know, people would lose their teeth and stuff like that, but it'd take a while. You know, now it happens quick. It's because of all the trash that's in it. They're made from trash, you know. And then, you know, when they're mixing them with this and that, you know, you've heard of the fentanyl, you know, deal, and they're cutting everything with fentanyl. And, man, it's just, you got to be, you got to be real careful, guys, whatever you're doing out there. You know, you got to be real careful about what you're doing. But my point to this whole thing is that you're looking to get out. There's a lot of you that want to get out. There's a lot of you that believe in what I'm saying. You know that what I'm saying, there's a part of you that knows it's true what I'm saying, because I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. I'm sorry, you know, for forgetting you guys' names. I'm terrible with names, but I never forget your face. But I know hundreds and hundreds of people that have met me through the years, and you know, I know they remember me, but we've talked about a lot of things, and the things that I've talked about, and you know, good and bad, you know, and they you know, now if they see this, they're trying to utilize it and get out of this mess. Well, you're caught up in this fantasy, you know, this fantasy of the you know, of the thrill, you know, in the ritual. You know, it's a ritual. So those, you know, there's a lot of you using the needle. That's really bad news these days. I mean, really bad news. You're putting some trash, boy, right into your veins, brothers and sisters. And you're not, you know, the addiction has got a hold of you, so you're not caring about it. You're just doing it. Excuse me. But I've got to tell you that you know, that's a really bad way to do it. It affects you. I mean, quick, mentally. It's affecting you mentally, your nervous system. It's eating up your nervous system. You guys are twitching, and you know, even when you're down and you haven't for a while, you're still acting that way, and it's you're tweaking. Well, we say you're tweaking on residual, you know, and it's the even when you clean, you don't even start getting clean for 90 days. Okay, at 90 days you begin to be clean. You know, people say, "Oh, I've been clean for a month." Well, you're not clean. You know, 60 days, you're not clean. That's why some of these, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good for some people, but a lot of chronic users, these 28-day programs, I've never have believed in them. My program was a year long. You know what I mean? And I had them over 20 years in, you know, a recovery program. And I mean, I dealt with a lot of addicts, man. And I've got a lot of experience in it, so I know what I'm looking at and what I'm talking about. And that's, you know, I can spot it. You know, the crack, if you know, whether you're doing crack or straight coke, you're freebasing, you're on the needle with the meth or snorting it or doing uppers or downers, you know, your barbiturates, I can see it, you know, and it's just something that I have, I don't know, but it helped me a lot in the work I was doing. But the point to this thing is, you guys want out. There's a lot of you that want out, but you're caught up in the ritual, you're caught up in the addiction. And I want to tell you something about that addiction. A lot of it, believe it or not, is in the ritual. You're addicted to the ritual, okay? Because the craving, if you can cut out the craving, it's gone, okay? It's gone. Uh, but if you realize, and this will help you, if you realize that the ritual is what you're is what is bringing on the craving. You understand? And the craving is feeding the ritual. So the drug, the actual drug, is at the tail end. It's at the tail end, and you're not realizing this. You know, to you, you see it, and you, right away, boy, it just you flare up. You even feel it through your body before you even do it. You know, but I'm telling you right now, it's the ritual you're hooked on, and it's the craving that gets you to the ritual, and it's the ritual that feeds the craving. You understand? And it's true that if you think about it. So, uh, if you look at it in this respect, you can analyze it a little better what it does with you. So many of you that are chronic and you've been through a lot of it for say years and whatever, it's you're tired of it, and I can understand, and you want out, but you don't know how to release yourself from it. It won't release you. It won't let you go. Well, you start realizing these things about it, and it'll help you. Uh, uh, the crash, nobody likes that crash. You're sick. People call it sick. I'm sick today. I'm sick today. Well, that means their back, your joints, everything hurts you. Because your body needs that. It's almost like and this is a strange thing. It's almost like a lubricant for your joints. It becomes that. And when you don't have it your joints start hurting. It's like they're hard to move, and your back starts hurting, your neck, everything starts hurting. And it's kind of a strange deal. It becomes like a lubricant. If you don't have that, they start hurting you. So you need that. And as soon as you get it and you get that hit, you feel good again. Well, I understand it very well, but you don't like the crash. So look, way out when your mind is sober, half sober, weigh it out. Every chance you get, weigh it out. Put it on the scales. Okay, is the crash worth it? Is worth the high? Is everything that goes on that? How come the scales are like this? They're not like this. How come they're like this? Here's all the negative. Here's all the positive. Okay. How come they're like this? Because you put all the positive here. Okay. Put all the negative here, and the scales go like this. Starting out with the crash. There you go. A little bit. How about all the darkness you go through? The physical aspects, boom, drops it again. All the arguments you get into with your significant other, your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, you're fighting over stupid things. You get into uh even domestic violence and stuff like that. There it goes again. So you got your scales way off balance. Okay. Now this is a balance within your mind. Okay. And it's a balance within your heart and within your core, within your system. You understand me? Your balance is completely off. And you wonder, you're wondering why things are not going right in your life. You know what I mean? Well, this balance is way off. It's so far off that uh, you can't get a straight shot at something. Mentally, you can't get a straight shot at something. Everything's obscured, and this is why. You've got to get those balances. You got to get this balance right. So why don't you start trimming some of this off? You know what I mean? And for me, this was, and it's tough, but you got to be strong minded. I mean, it's going to take a strong mind. You know, and if you allow yourself to be weak, you'll never get it done. Okay, but for me, I quit everything like that. I quit everything just like that. 4 years, I didn't do anything. Okay. I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke pot. Didn't do anything. Okay, and because I insisted I was going to do this, and I needed to get off of it, and many years ago. Okay, and I was on pretty strong stuff for a long time, so I quit everything. I mean, just like that, and for the first year, I couldn't even. I couldn't get out of bed without it felt like my joints were welded together. I'd be walking all hunched over and couldn't bend my arms. I couldn't lift my arms up. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't straighten my back up. My back hurt, my lower back, and I mean, my knees were kind of buckled. I'd have to go to the shower an hour early before work, so that I can get that hot water on me and start moving them and motivate my joints, and I did that for a year. I mean, it was torment. I think it was a little past a year, and I had to stick with it. I had the job, and then I got another job, a bigger position, better position. I stayed committed, to it, and it got easier and easier and easier, but after a while I didn't need anything, but then we got to sociably going out and doing these, the here and there. We do a little snorting, and this and that and whatever, some drinking, and how you get at a party and stuff. So but it didn't it was different. I